You can measure the size of an elephant. You can clock the speed of a cheetah, but you can't quantify the heart of a kings, queens, and in-betweens. Welcome to Dr. Boxing Talk. Stream starts now.
The champ is here! 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 The champ is here!
If I tell you I'm good, probably you will say I'm boasting. But if I tell you I'm no good, you know one line.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Y'all know what time it is, man. You know what I'm saying? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Mi hermanos, mi hermanas, mi amigos, mi amigas, princes and princesses, kings and queens, ladies and lads, men and women, boys and girls, and everything in between. Y'all know what time it is. The doctor's in the house. We here for the late show, man. Y'all thought we weren't going to get it in? Come on now. Come on now, man. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. What's good? What's good? We got some people in the building, too. Let's hit this roll call, man. Let's hit this roll call. Yes, sir. We got the young Prince Omari. He don't never do wrong. I'm sorry. He gonna cop him a new Ferrari. Because he'll never play games Atari. Come on now. Big bars. Shout out to my boy Omari Thomas in the building. Long time no see, man. Big member in the building. We got my boy Oscar Perez in the building. He say, wait, what the actual F? 10 p.m. Central, 11 p.m. Eastern? Gee. Yes, sir. We out here, man. Got my boy Oscar in the building. Yes, sir. Turn me up, man. Let's keep this energy up, man. We got my boy Kendrick Daly in the building. Big Kendrick right here. Master Kendrick in the building. I thought he was fighting JCC. Hold on, little Pippin. Hold on. Hold on, man. Let's get right to it, man. Before we get to it, though, let's go ahead and say our prayers. As always, we got to start off with our prayers, man. So please join me and bow your heads. Dear Heavenly Father, Lord, we thank you for bringing us into this wonderful weekend. Thank God it's Friday. We thank God for every day. You know, we want to also send our prayers for those that have lost their lives, especially in the shooting at my former university, Florida State University, one of my former universities, you know, and rest in peace to the two men that lost their lives. And we hope for a swift recovery for all of the ones that are injured as well. In addition, we send our sincerest condolences to the families of the ones left behind. We ask for your continuous protection and to just steer us in the right direction, you know, and just protect us, because these days nowhere's safe. You're not safe in your home. You're not safe at school. You're not safe at the grocery store, church. You know, a lot of violence has been going on, but we are safe as long as we are always in your presence, and we always got to have faith in you and just be engulfed in your presence at all times. So please, Lord, continue to bless us, continue to protect us, and continue to love us, and give us the ability to, and the strength to be kind to others, even when it's difficult to be kind. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen, 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 man. Let's get to it. My boy Just Doing the building. What's good, brethren? Yes, sir, man. Yes, sir. I got to get a new mouse, man. My mouse be tripping, bro. I don't know why I be doing stuff twice. But yeah, let me pull up the chat, man. Let me pull up the chat, man. Let's pull up the chat box on the screen. Let me see. I can't find it, chat. Oh, hold on now. Hold on. Oh, there we go. Hold on now. There we go. But yeah, man. Shout out to my guy, Kendrick, man. Kendrick said he ready. He ready for the news, man. Omari, man, what you doing up, man? What you young behind, man? Hopefully you're doing good stuff, man. Long time no see. I'm glad you made it. This man gonna ask me if I was going live yesterday. I go live twice yesterday. I ain't seen him not nan time. What type of mess is that, Omari? But I'm glad you're here now, man. But let's start off. You know, my boy Kendrick said he thought Jake Paul's fighting Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. And that he is. You know, that he is. He's fighting him in June, right? I don't mind this fight, man. You know, I was having a deep conversation with my boy Just Do, man, and I'm not gonna lie, man. Just Do made me a little more interested in this fight, you know, because I look at Jake Paul as a guy that, and there's no disrespect, like I said, I love what he's doing for boxing. I think it's undeniable that he is uplifting the sport. I think if you don't think that he's uplifting the sport, I think you got a little haterism in your game, you know what I'm saying? And I can't relate to no hate. It's a 4-syllable word that I barely know how to spell, you feel me? So I can't relate to hate. I can always show people love and give compliments when it's appropriate, and also give critiques when it's appropriate too. I think as a promoter, which I think that's what he wants to be. That's what he is. That's how I see him as. And most valuable promotions, he is doing great things for boxing, particularly the women's division of boxing. You know, a lot of people have been on Jake Paul's undercards now, you know, from Daniel Dubois to obviously Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano and so many other fighters, you know, Bruce Shushu Carrington, Mario Barrios as of late, most recently. So he definitely puts off for boxing. Now, however, my problem with him is the fact that, you know, I'm not knocking the man. But as a boxing fan, you know, as a businessman, I give him his props. But as a boxing fan, I don't have to like his fight, so I don't feel bad about that. I don't like nan one of his fights. You know, I'm a fan of competition at the highest level, whether I'm watching that basketball in the NBA, or I'm watching basketball in the WNBA, or I'm watching U.S. Women's National Team of Soccer, or I'm watching Serena Williams and them on tennis or whatever, or I'm watching Roger Federer and them on the male side of the tennis. Same with boxing. I don't even really watch amateur boxing. You know, I don't watch collegiate sports. Not saying it's bad. It's just my preference is to watch the top, you know what I'm saying, the cream of the crop. So when I see Jake Paul fighting a retired basketball player, Nate Robinson, a retired MMA fighter, and Tyrone Woodley and Ben Askren and them, and then he fights an iconic legend in Mike Tyson, but he's a geriatric, right? He out here falling out in the middle of airports in Florida, you know what I'm talking about? You know, he's 30 years a senior, you know, Iron Mike Tyson was more like plastic Mike Tyson, you feel me? At that point, I'm just not interested in those fights. But Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., with his pedigree and his background, you know, he is a former fighter and he's not that old. But, you know, I can't forget that he has lost some boxing matches to some non-boxers as well. So just the observer in me makes it hard for me to take it seriously, because I actually don't think that Jake Paul would take a risk if he really thought it was a risk. You know what I'm saying? So I think that I kind of feel like the fact that Jake Paul's taking the fight and it's somebody outside of Canelo, then I think that they don't really think it's going to be too much of a danger. But Julio Cesar Chavez could prove us wrong, right? He could come through and give him a rude awakening, right? I do think he's good enough to put up a good fight against Jake Paul, but I don't know if he's good enough up here. You know, he's been in and out of rehab, of course, like that. And I'm not saying that to knock him. I would never do that, but it's just a harsh reality. I don't know if he could really put up a good fight against Jake Paul, because people, as much as I talk trash about Jake Paul, not really talk trash, but as much as I dismiss him, his boxing skills, bro, Jake Paul is a good boxer if you're not a boxer. You see what I'm saying? Jake Paul, he lives the lifestyle of a boxer, at least when he's in camp. He has boxers around him, from BJ Flores, who's a former cruiserweight champion, to Jay Leon Love, who's in Floyd Mayweather camp and stuff. So he trains with David Benavidez and stuff like that. So he's living the lifestyle of a boxer. And, you know, a big portion of boxing is, I would say, like 70% conditioning. You know what I'm saying? Just hitting the road work, being in shape, having the stamina and endurance. And me, just as an amateur fighter, I've always told, myself that when I used to box as an amateur, I was like, man, I stopped boxing because my schooling and particularly my PhD research and studies started to ramp up. And I was like, man, I don't ever want to lose a fight because I got tired. So I was always, but I remember sometimes a lot of times, I was the most in shape in my gym, and I wasn't even a professional. I had some professionals in my gym like Tavares Cloud, and I'm not saying I was in more better shape than him, but just giving you examples, like I'll be the ones leading the road work and stuff like that because I just didn't want to get tired. Because, hey man, a lot of times if you could outlast somebody, you could turn up at the end of the rounds, and you've seen people get knocked out at the end of the rounds or in late rounds. So I think the fact that it doesn't even matter with Jake Paul and Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. I don't think it comes down to skill. I think it will come down to who's in better shape. And I would have to put my money on the younger, stronger, more dedicated guy who I think is Jake Paul to be in better shape. And the fact he's strong too. He's not weak. You know what I'm saying? He's a big guy. So it's not like he's trash. I don't think he's trash. I just don't think he could be any live dog of a contender level boxer, in my personal opinion. But forget all that, man. That fight is going down. And if he wins, this is what made me mad. You know what I'm saying? Because I was watching, I like Gabriela Fedor, man, the youngest undisputed champion in the 4-belt era. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to her. And Devin Haney's still the youngest. He's still the youngest undisputed champion in the 4-belt era as far as the men go. But I think with Gabriela Fedor, she eclipsed that, right? So shout out to Gabriela Fedor, and she's a fellow Floridian. She'll be fighting Marilyn Badia this weekend, tomorrow, right? And after the weigh-in, man, Oscar De La Hoya with his little slick talking self, man. The man came out and dropped a bombshell on us, Just Do. The man came out and dropped a bombshell on us, Kendrick. The man came out and dropped a bombshell on us, Oscar.
You dumbass.
The man said that don't be surprised if Zurdo Ramirez has ambitions to be for greatness, and he will, after becoming unified, which he's already unified. I think he meant undisputed. He said in addition to pursuing unifications, which he's already has the WBA and the WBO title, got the WBA from Goulamarian and got the WBO from Chris Billiam Smith, right? So he's already unified. So I think he misspoke. I think he meant like in addition to pursuing undisputed, he also wouldn't be surprised if he goes for Jake Paul. Jake Paul? Jake Paul?
What?
Like, come on, man. I like Zurdo, man. Zurdo, like I say, he's a unified champion in the cruiserweight division. You have Jai Opetaia, who's an IBF champion and the Ring Magazine champion. Then you have Badu Jack, who's fighting on the Cinnamon card, undercard against Noel McCain for the WBC portion of the belts at cruiserweight. I'd be very disappointed, man. Like, Jake Paul fight Julio Cesar Chavez, whatever. But Zurdo, bro, I think Jai Opetaia wants a unification. I like Jai Opetaia. I like Zurdo a lot. I kind of like Zurdo a little more than I like Jai Opetaia, but I respect both of them, and I want that unification to happen. I know Jai Opetaia wants it, and I fully believe that Zurdo wants it. But this is contradicting that statement in my position of him wanting it if he fights somebody like Jake Paul. And I'm not necessarily blaming Zurdo. I haven't heard from Zurdo, so I'm gonna give him a chance. And this is nothing to put past Oscar, right? But Oscar has a history of doing shady and shaky business, right? Look at William Zepeda, how long this has been drug out and how long he's been sloughing with making the Shakur fight, And then to compound things, Kid Austin, who's also a Golden Boy fighter, look how he did when he was supposed to fight Shakur. He pulled out late, So Zurdo is another Golden Boy fighter, and Golden Boy, as far as Oscar goes, he does a lot of fishy stuff. Even with Virgil Ortiz, man, look how long it took for him to finally get in a meaningful fight, So this wouldn't shock me if Zurdo would fight Jake Paul. Now I will give him an out, right? I'm gonna give him this out. There's a potential that maybe, with Jai Opetaia fighting Claudio Squayo, who's a voluntary defense, a guy that never fought out of Italy, but he is undefeated. Last time we saw an undefeated fighter that was unheard of, he put it on Jaime Munguia's head top. That was Brunello from France, right? Bruno Serrat. So I'm not saying that any guy's easy or a pushover, but he's relatively unknown, and I think a lot of people would be disappointed in Jai Opetaia fighting him. However, I give him an out too, because if Zurdo's busy, obviously he has to take care of his WBA mandatory Junior Dorticos, who he will be fighting on the undercard of Jake Paul and Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. Then the other guy, Badu Jack, is fighting on the undercard against Noel McCain of the Canelo fight, right? So they're occupied. So I'm cool with Jai Opetaia fighting that. However, it's around the same time. So in theory, they should both be free, assuming that they both win, right? So the unification is right there. But the reason why I'm going to give Zurdo an out is because what has been talked about and flirted with, right? What has been talked about and flirted with is the fact that they're looking at a 5v5 between Golden Boy and Matchroom. And they've been saying this for a while, Eddie Hearn and Oscar, that they would like to have Zurdo and Jai Opetaia potentially headline that. So if they're trying to get that situated and Turkey Al Sheikh facilitates that, then I could understand in the interim getting in a fight like that. But even still, with that being said, I still don't want Zurdo and Jake Paul, but it's a little bit more understandable. Now, do I think it's going to happen? I would say no. I just don't like the fact that they're even playing with it like that. Oscar coming out playing with my emotions and even announcing that. The reason why I don't think it'll happen is because what we talked about earlier with Jake Paul. I don't think Jake Paul's going to take on anybody that would seriously beat him unless it's Saul Canelo Alvarez, because that's when it's worth the risk, right? The face of boxing is going to make it worth the risk. That's the big bag. And or Gervonta Tank Davis, who's another megastar, or Anthony Joshua, who's another megastar. Who have we been hearing Jake Paul to be courting as far as getting a match with? It's been Canelo first, and then Big Turk snatched that from him, right? Then it was Gervonta Tank Davis, and Lamont Roach snatched that from him because they have to get the rematch. And then Anthony Joshua, he said, oh, I'll fight Anthony Joshua. I'd love to fight him, but in 2026. So basically, how I took that is that, and now I'm speculating, I don't know for sure, but how I took that is like, yeah, I'll fight Anthony Joshua, but let me try to get this cinnamon bag first. You know what I'm saying? Let me try to get this tank bag first. So that's why I don't think that he'll fight Zurdo, is because Zurdo will beat that ass. Let's face it. So that's just my opinion on that. Let me hit some of these comments, man. He said JCC is a wash middleweight. Jake Paul in a tough fight. What up, Jeff? Great points. I appreciate that, Just Do. Shout out to my guy, Just Do, man. Check out my boy, Just Do, man. Like I said, it's one of my favorite boxing channels. Probably my favorite boxing channel right now, man. You know, Just Do, 2 Cents, Ryan Fraser, Boxing Talk Up North. We call him Big North. So Just Do is definitely one of the better boxing channels in my opinion, man. Check him out, man. I appreciate that, bro. He said, good night, y'all. Got to wake up at 4. All right, Oscar, you be easy, man. Yes, don't forget to hit that like button like my boy Oscar says. Hit that like button, man. God bless you, Oscar. That's my brother right there, mi hermano. He said, I remember seeing Tony Harrison outbox and beat up Willie Nelson for about 9.5 rounds and got clipped and stopped in a 10-round fight. You feel me? A lot of it is endurance, man. A lot of it is stamina and endurance, man. Get that road work in, man. And mental fortitude. I think a lot of us, we underestimate the other things in boxing besides like the obvious like power and athleticism, man. I feel like a lot of us, and I'm not speaking on anybody individually, just a lot of us in general, we just look at boxing as knockout kings, man. It's just like, oh, who got the most power, who has the most athleticism. We rarely account for the cerebral aspect of it, the footwork aspect of it, the rolling with punches, the defensive subtle movement aspect of it, you know what I'm saying, the endurance aspect of it. You know, we overlook the mental game, and the mental game is a big portion of any type of top level competition, whether you're talking about boxing, basketball, academics, it don't matter what, or corporate world, whatever. You know, he says, but yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact. Just Do. He said, Jake. Soldier Boy voice. Yeah, Chaba's looking good. He's off the coke and focus. I don't know, man. He off that booger sugar? I'll take your word with Jeff for it. With it, I'll take your word for it, Jeff. Average someone in the building. What's good, brethren? Big member in the building. 2-4 in the building. Jake Paul know not to play them games with Jai. Yeah, oh yeah, he's not gonna go with Jai or Zurdo. That's why I have my doubts, but I just don't even like the fact that Oscar flirt with it, man. Stop playing with my emotions, man. You feel me? If Jake wins, we need that Berlanga fight. Stop it. Dr. Boxing Talk, bro. What's good? Armando in the building. What's good, bro? Have a good Friday. Yes, sir. God bless you, man. Good Friday. Yes, sir. Salute to everybody. Good Friday. Yes, Super Resurrection Weekend. Amen. Easter Sunday coming up, man. Resurrection of Christ, man. God bless you, bro. Your bro for Tijuana. Yes, sir. My guy for Tijuana, Mexico. I was just talking about the upset in Tijuana that just happened with Jaime Munguia and Bruno Soras not so long ago. But yeah, man, I just think that I don't even want that to be played with right now, man. I think that no disrespect to Jake Paul. Like I said, I salute him. I ain't never been no hater, but I don't want to see Jake Paul and Zurdo. But would I be too mad of it? Mad about it? It depends on the timing, man. I think Gilberto Ramirez, I want to see him in unifications fight. Like I said, it doesn't even have to be Jai Opetaia. It could be the winner of Badu Jack and Noel McCallan. It could be for the WBC unification as well. Or ideally, right, we would have the winner of Badu Jack and Noel McCallan fight the winner of Jai Opetaia and Claudio Squayo, and then that winner fights the winner of Gilberto Ramirez and Junio Dorticos. That'd be a great undisputed. You know, that's one thing I'll say about boxing, man. I know we complain about not getting the fights that we want to see, like Canelo and David Benavidez, or Tank and Shakur, or whoever else is a highly anticipated matchup. But man, there's some good matchups, man. That's what I tell people all the time, man. I know y'all know I like Cinnamon, man. Canelo's my guy, face of boxing. I like Gervonta Tank Davis. I like Junto Nakatani. Junto Nakatani about to get a unification with Ryosuke Nishida, right? Thank God for that, because there's 4 champions and all of them are undisputed. I mean, undefeated at 118, right? Ryosuke Nishida, Yoshiki Takei, Seiya Satsumi, and Junta Nakatani, right? So we're gonna get some situating down there, right? So that's good. But man, we're getting a lot of unifications, man, and a lot of undisputeds potentially happening. So you know, I think that of course, naturally, we're gonna be disappointed when we don't get the matchups that we're anticipating that we want right now. But bro, there's a lot of good fights out there to be made, man. I still maintain to this day that Canelo and Jaime Munguia was a good fight. It's just that we were just disappointed naturally because Jaime Munguia wasn't David Benavidez. You see what I'm saying? Even Tank versus Frank Martin, that was a good fight. You know, Shakur, if he fights William Zepeda, how can you complain about that? You know, I see some people complaining about that fight finally coming to fruition. It's like, how? And if you are going to complain about it, why are you mad at Shakur? Like, Shakur has obliged William Zepeda every single time he called him out. William Zepeda called out Shakur after he beat up Maxie Hughes. He called him out again after he beat up Giovanni Cabrera. He called him out again before he beat up Tevin Farmer, in between the first fight and the second rematch, and after again, you know what I'm saying, even when he had a baby. So Shakur, like, people were saying, oh, you know, Zepeda struggled against Tevin Farmer, so it should be an easy fight. Even if it is, let it be easy. William Zepeda, did we forget that he was the undisputed mandatory? He was an undisputed #1 ranked contender at 135. He was the #1 for the WBA. Well, he still is right now, suspiciously. But he was #1 for WBA, #1 for IBF, #1 for WBC, and #1 for WBO simultaneously. And the man still didn't take a title shot. So now work with Big Turkey Al-Sheikh, Big Oscar, and Big Eddie, you know what I'm saying, Matchroom Golden Boy, and Riyadh season, you know, Eddie Hearn, Oscar De La Hoya, and Turkey Al-Sheikh. They finally shook something and got the fight about to happen. I see people complaining. It's like, bro, stylistically, this is a great matchup. You know what I'm saying? You got the super defensive fighter going against a super offensive fighter. You know, Williams Zepeda throws punches in bunches. Shakur dodges punches in bunches. You know, he's one of the fewest hit fighters in the game, or is the fewest hit fighter in the game. So I think it's going to be a great matchup, man. I think Zepeda is going to, I think Shakur is going to win. And I think he might win easier than most anticipate, but it's still a good fight, bro. So we'll see. You never know. Zepeda could potentially get an upset. You know, like the last time we thought Tank was gonna run through Lamont Roach. A lot of people thought that. I didn't think that. I always said that was gonna be a good fight, but I did think that Tank was gonna win a little more convincingly than having a draw. But I knew this was gonna be a tough matchup just from their familiarity alone. You know what I'm saying? So I'm looking forward to this fight though. So yeah, that's what I was talking about, Kendrick, as far as Zurdo fighting Drake. So yeah, that's what I was talking about, man. In regards to that, I'll be super disappointed if anybody says that Zurdo is ducking Jai Opetaia. I can't really contest it too much, because if he fights Jake Paul, that's what it's gonna look like, you know. And I keep the same energy, right? When Tank was talking about fighting Jake Paul, and, you know, shout out to Lamar Roach. But for spoiling that, right, and making us get the rematch, because I think Tank needs to go handle that business, right? Let me pull out my GTD chain. Hold on, let me pull out my GTD chain. As much as I like Tank, he got to go get that rematch. And as much as I like Tank, what did I say when I heard about him fighting Jake Paul? I said, bro, go ahead and retire, bro. I like Tank, but I like boxing first, man. I like Canelo. I like Tank. I like Caleb Plant. I like Terrence Crawford. I like boxing. You know what I'm saying? I like a lot of fight. Gabriella Fedora, Clarissa Shields, Carolyn Dubois, so on and so forth. I just like boxing, but I don't want to see no nonsense, man. And to me, Tank versus Jake Paul, from the surface level or the in-depth level, you want to dig below the surface. That's a goofy fight, man. What's the name? 6'1", Jake Paul 6'1", Gervonta Tank Davis, what, 5'5", 5'4", whatever it is. He's 135 pounds. Jake fights at 200. You know what I'm saying? Heavyweight, or sometimes cruiserweight. You know, I think his last 2 fights were heavyweight, and his 2 fights before that was cruiserweight. They ain't got no business in the same ring, man. You know, and so that's just a clown show, bro. So if that's what you gonna do, then go ahead, retire, bro. You know, get your money. You know what I'm saying? Get your money, of course. I can't knock that, but go ahead, retire, bro, because that's nuts. That is nuts. What the hell? Give me a second, chat. I don't know what happened. I got a copyright claim on, huh? What are they talking about? What? Oh, I got a copyright claim, man. You can hear the World Boxing, the WBC Grand Prix in the background. Man, that was like 10 seconds, man. Get out of here, man. That was an accident. Man, boy, guys, they be hawking, ain't it? Man, get out of here, bro. Oh, whatever. Anyway, but let's keep it going. My fault. I'm gonna go ahead and dispute that and get that thing taken care of. Boy, they be hawking. Boy, that was an accident. I actually played it when I was watching the freaking the WBC Grand Prix today. But yeah, but in other news, we're gonna switch it up, man. That is crazy. It's very crazy, Kendrick. Jake Paul's doing good in promoting women boxing. Absolutely. But should earn the right and not buy the right to fight top elite contenders. Just opinion. I don't think that's hating, bro. I think that's an honest opinion, bro. We like boxing, you know what I'm saying? I don't think there's anything wrong or anything hating about saying that you don't want to see a guy, Jake Paul, fight Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. for a WBA belt. But we got to focus on as well. It's the sanctioning bodies. I'm so glad you said that, Armando. I forgot to mention that. Gilberto Mendoza, who's the president of the WBA, is talking about making that fight for a belt. You gonna do what now? You gonna make that fight for a belt?
What?
I feel like that's so disrespectful, not just to boxing, but even to the WBA. You know, not just to the WBA, other WBA champions like Gervonta Tank Davis and Zurdo Ramirez and all the other WBA champions all over the place. You know, Lamont Roach and everywhere. But it's like, bro, like that's a mockery of boxing. What kind of belt would that be for? You know, but it's the sanctioning bodies that do this because they be looking for money. They be money hungry and they prioritize their pockets over the sanctity and the purity and the integrity of the sport, man. And that's just trash, bro. That's garbage.
Know your fucking place, trash.
Said Jake Paul sent the goons. Facts. They some hoes. You feel me, Jeff? So it's just like, that's crazy, man. But like I said, it's not Jake Paul's fault or Julio Cesar Chavez Jr.'s fault that they want to give them that fight be for a belt. It's a sanctioning bodies. It's just like with the WBC and President Mauricio Suleiman. Look how fast they stripped David Benavidez. I mean, Dimitri Bivol and elevated David Benavidez. Why didn't they make that mandate so quickly when it came to Saul Canelo Alvarez at 168, when David Benavidez was in the same exact position when it came to Cinnamon? Is because Cinnamon is a cash cow, face of boxing. They don't want to upset him, and it behooves them to keep the biggest money generator, revenue generator in the game as their belt holder. That's what it comes down to, bro. We see it all the time. So, you know, it's so funny that Mauricio Suleiman tried to expose Dimitri Bivol as a duck because he went to go for the trilogy route, which we knew that was on the table, right? He tried to expose him as a duck. And he actually exposed himself as being the fat, greedy bastard that he is. You greedy, bro. You could have easily made the same executive order, you know, and actually mandated your mandatory. And then Canelo probably would have fought David Benavidez. Because I think if he was mandated to fight him, he would have fought him. At least in my opinion, because I don't see Canelo as no duck. And I think Cinnamon beats David Benavidez. But if Benavidez beats Cinnamon, I want to be mad because I like David Benavidez too. You know, WBA just wants a piece of the pie. That's it. They just want a piece of the pie, man. That was cringe. Roach didn't go toe-to-toe with Tank. He went toe-to-toe with the canvas. I'm asleep. That's Matt Omari. How you go toe-to-toe with the canvas? He ain't even touch the canvas. What you talking about, Omari? Man, but shout out to Tank, though, man, you know. But switching gears a little bit, man. I do want to give some love to, well, before I go to Berlanga. Kovalev also, he beat Arthur Mann today. It was listed that the fight was going to be tomorrow. I was actually surprised that it was today. So Kovalev had his last fight. He retired in his hometown somewhere in Russia, I'm assuming. And I watched the fight today. He dropped Arthur Mann like twice. Artur Mann. He dropped him twice on the way to the stoppage, I believe, in the 7th round. So Sergey Kovalev, after 16 years of boxing, he is retired, man. The Crusher has crushed his last opponent, man. So, yeah, shout out to Archer, man. I thought he put up a decent fight while it lasted. But Sergey Kovalev, he looked pretty good. You know, I'm not saying he looked good like I want to see him fight anymore, or he's going to be he's a contender level or title fight guy, but a title contender. But, you know, he looked pretty good, man. And that's a great way to end your career, man. He had a good career, whether you agree with some of the stuff that he said, which I don't remember. I just remember hearing about some nasty stuff he'd been saying. You know how some people do. Yeah, man, shout out to him in his career. He had a lot of good fights that I enjoyed. I particularly enjoyed when Andre Ward put the beats on him, but I also enjoyed when Canelo put the beats on him. But I also enjoyed when he was crushing some folks too. You know what I'm saying? He had a good career, man. So shout out to Kovalev. Recently retired. Big up to him. Big up to Kovalev. Yeah, good career. I agree. He had a good career, man. He had a very good career. You know, he had a very good career. And that him and that Andre Ward fight was good, man. And he dropped Andre Ward too in that first fight, you know. But next up, man, I want to move on to Berlanga. I think somebody mentioned Berlanga earlier about Jake Paul and Berlanga. Edgar Berlanga is rumored now. It's speculation now. It's not finalized now, not definitive, not conclusive. But according to reports, Edgar Berlanga is contemplating. Yeah, that first fight was very close, Jeff. You know, you could argue that Kovalev won it. I thought the right person won, but it was very close. Could have went either way. I would not have been mad if Kovalev won that. You know, second fight was, you know, dominating. Won in dominating fashion by Andre Ward, but that first fight, yeah, that could have went either way. But Edgar Berlanga is contemplating going to he might sign with PBC, man. TBV calls Berlanga a superstar. Hey Jeff, I'm not saying he's a superstar, but he's definitely a star now. I definitely think that he exaggerates. I don't think Edgar Berlanga has the best self-awareness. Let's put it like that. He thinks that him and Canelo had a good fight. I think that it was a decent fight. It was not a good fight. He thinks it was a close fight. It was not a close fight. But I was impressed with Edgar Berlanga for the effort he put in, man. I don't think that he folded in that fight. I think he actually tried, which is much more than I could say for Jermell Charlo. Not knocking Jermell Charlo, but he definitely went in survival mode when he fought Canelo, right? It just is what it is. Edgar Berlanga, I thought he fought. You know, I thought he fought. I thought he made a good showing of himself. Now, do I appreciate him having a motorcade in Puerto Rico like he won something and having a victory tour like he won? Nah, because there's no moral victories in boxing. But he did, you know, he established generational wealth. I'm not mad at him celebrating, but I thought he celebrated a little bit too hard for somebody who just lost. You know what I'm saying? So to me, it kind of gave off the energy like you didn't really anticipate the win. Like you weren't really expecting to win. You were just more so happy that you got in the ring with Canelo, which I understand the star power too, but you can't be a fan all the time. You got to try to knock his block off, you know, and Cinnamon just did what he had to do, as he usually does. And Edgar Berlanga, you know, outside of the celebratory antics, I think that I always thought Edgar Berlanga was a decent fighter. Do I think he's the best at 168? No, obviously the Cinnamon number one. For me, Caleb Plant, Sweet Hands Plant, he's number two. We'll see when Jermall Charlo comes back. We got to see how he looks, but I'm gonna exclude him right now. But I would say that who else at 168? After that, what? Jaime Munguia is coming off of a loss. He has to rebound. So I think Edgar Berlanga's up there in top 5, which is 168 is not a deep division, but still Edgar Berlanga being top 5 or you could make an argument about him being top 5. That's pretty good, right? I think Edgar Berlanga, I personally believe he already lost to Canelo, right? I think he loses to Caleb Plant, but I think Edgar Berlanga, Jaime Munguia is a good fight. I think Edgar Berlanga and Diego Pacheco is a good fight. I think Edgar Berlanga, Christian and Billy is a good fight. I think no matter which way you lean to, I think that's a good fight. Who else? Like I said, I'm gonna keep Jermall Charlo. I think Jermall Charlo will beat Edgar Berlanga pretty handily, but I don't know what version of Jermall Charlo we're getting. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I want to keep him out until I see him in his comeback fight against Thomas Lamana. Let's say Edgar Berlanga versus Ozzy Iglesias. You know, he's an up-and-coming prospect, so I think that's a good fight too, you know. So Edgar Berlanga, I think with him being 168, man, and him potentially going to PBC, I got to give him credit, because who's at PBC? Jermall Charlo, if he comes back, Caleb Plant, and Saul Canelo Alvarez just left PBC, right? This is his first fight not fully affiliated with PBC. Right now, it'd be affiliated with Riyadh. So him going to PBC, man, I gotta give him respect, bro. Because to me, that not only lets us know he wants to fight, but it also lets us know that he's putting forth the effort to actually make these fights happen. What's the easiest way to facilitate fights? Is to be on the same promotional company of the people that you're targeting to fight. So I got to give him that credit, man. Whether you like Edgar Berlanga or not, the man was he only has one blemish on his record, and it was to Cinnamon. There's no shame in losing to the first ever undisputed champion at 168, right? There's no shame in that, you know. And he was on that phenomenal streak of having 16 wins, 16 straight first round knockouts consecutively. That's unheard of. I don't care if he was fighting tomato cans. I don't care if he was fighting guys with no hands. Or your mans, Lakers in 5. You know what I'm talking about? I should say Edgar Berlanga in 1. You feel me? That's still impressive, man. You got 16 bums lined up in front of you. You ain't knocking them all out in 3 minutes. I'll tell you that. So I gotta give him that credit. Do I think he's the best at 168? Do I think he beats Canelo again? Do I think he deserves a shot against Canelo? Do I think he beats Caleb Plant? No, and no. You know, but at the same time, you got to give people a chance. He's a young guy. He could get better as long as he takes it seriously. He definitely has power. When you have power, you got a chance, baby. You got a chance to make him dance. You might do the stankin' leg. And we saw with Trevor McCumbee, he was a relatively unknown fighter, right? He tossed everything except the salad. You know what I'm talking about? Pause. He was tossing Caleb Plant all around the ring. I said he tossed everything on Caleb Plant besides his salad.
No, did he?
You know what I'm saying? So you know, I would like to think that Edgar Berlanga is just as strong as Trevor McCumbee, and he's bigger too. So you never know how it goes. I have Caleb Plant, but you never know, man. You know, and shout out to Caleb Plant. That was one of the best performances I've seen in a little minute as it pertains to adaptation, and because you know he adapted in real time. You know, at first it was hard trying to fight on the outside. And then he fought in the inside, turned it into close quarters combat, that CQC, and he made it look like a whole nother fight. You know what I'm saying? He washed Trevor McCumbee after that. So yeah, no Diddy, I'm wilding. He said Berlanga packs. Hey, talk to him, Kendrick. Hey, I would go with Munguia, but Munguia hasn't shown me something against Bruno Soros. You could be right. Berlanga might pack up at Munguia. You could be right, Kendrick. I don't think that's a bad choice, especially what we just seen what Bruno Soros did to him, right? Bruno Soros got his 5th KO in his whole career, and that was on Jaime Munguia. And what do I always say? I like Jaime Munguia. He's one of my favorite fighters to watch. Why? Because he's exciting. Why is he exciting? Because he blocks with his freaking face. That man don't block nothing. He either you going or he going. Somebody going, though. That's why I like to watch Jaime Munguia all the time, man. So it's not just about, oh, I like the best. I have a lot of favorite fighters that aren't necessarily the best, but I just like the way they fight. They're entertaining to me, you know what I'm saying? I really like boxers, so it is what it is. But yeah, man, Edgar Berlanga, I think that if he goes to PBC, to me, that's definitely a testament that he's about that life, and that's what we've been questioning. At least I've been questioning. I was like, Edgar Berlanga, it's hard for me to like somebody that I feel like be bluffing, and I feel like he be capping quite a bit. When he was talking about fighting Caleb Plant and Caleb Plant, but you're not stepping to him. Caleb Plant been stepping to you for a minute. You ain't doing nothing. So now if he goes to PBC, then that's definitely a sign that he wants to fight Caleb Plant, Jamal Charlo, and all the other guys at 168 that's at PBC or PBC affiliated. So I can't be mad at that. Styles make fights. When Gia Style gets him knocked out, I guess, yeah, facts. I could definitely see it. You know what I'm saying? I could definitely see it, but I could also see Munguia putting that pressure on him too. You know what I'm saying? That pressure. So, but yeah, you're right though, man. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, we'll see, bro. Also, switching gears a bit, man. Switching gears. Then we gonna come back to it, man. What's up with this Boots and Ryan nonsense I keep hearing, bro? Talk to me. What's up with your people, Kendrick? What's up with your people, Omari? Jeff, what's up with your people, man? What's all this Boots and Ryan nonsense I've been hearing, man? I saw somebody say, oh, Ryan Garcia, it depends on what kind of boots comes in the ring.
What do you mean by that?
Well, what you mean, what kind of boots? You mean the Tim boots? You mean the steel toe boots? You mean the Nike boots? What kind of boots you want? Any type of boots is going to whoop Ryan Garcia's behind. What are we talking about, bro? He can't beat the Nike boots?
Yeah.
He can't beat the Tim boots.
Yeah.
He can't beat the steel toe boots.
Yeah.
He can't beat the butter boots. It don't matter. Like, you want the butters, you want the black, what you want. I don't understand it, bro. Like, I don't understand. In what world does Ryan Garcia beat Boots? Now, I will say this. You know, I'm very critical of Ryan Garcia because I don't like some of the stuff he says when he says F Muslims and F black folks and stuff like that. I think it's very wrong. You know what I'm saying? That's why I question Derek James. None of my business. You know, I don't know what goes on behind closed door. Maybe I talked about it and apologized, but Derek James being a black man and a Muslim black man, you know, Muslim all black. I don't know how he works with that, but you know what I'm saying? Forgiveness is part of being faithful too, you know, and being a good person. So I ain't judging it too much, but the optics look bad. But anyway, Ryan Garcia, I will give him credit. You know, I'm always objective. As a fighter, this is why I liked Ryan Garcia, because I always thought he was one of the fighters that would indeed fight anybody, right? He fought Tank, he fought Devin. Now we know he cheated, and that's probably why you felt like he would fight anybody. But anytime he says he'll fight people, I believe him. I give him the benefit of the doubt, and that's one of the reasons why I liked him, right? So I do believe he will fight Boots. I give him that benefit of the doubt. I don't believe he'll win. What are we talking about? Like, it's just so funny to me. It's like, who's Ryan Garcia's best win? He got stopped by Tank, right? He got dropped by Luke Campbell. He ended up beating Luke Campbell, yes, but he got dropped by Luke Campbell. He had a very close fight with Oscar Duarte, which he ended up stopping too as well. But that was a close fight. His best performance has to be Devin Haney, and he had PEDs. His best performance came with drugs that enhanced his performance. That's what PED stands for. So in his best performance, his performance was enhanced. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, what are we talking? The man has never been a champion. So how do you think he's gonna be the guy who is a unified champion, just became unified with the WBA and the IBF belt by beating the undefeated champion Amanta Stanionis, and he's a Ring Magazine champion? Why do you give him a chance? And he's never even been to 147 yet. Now, granted, if anybody out of Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney, Teofimo, Tank, Shakur, and all the guys that came up together that we compare to all the time, right? If anybody could make it to 147 and be comfortable, I think it's Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia. And I would even say Ryan Garcia even more so. I think Ryan Garcia could potentially even go to 154. But to go to that division and to beat a top dog in that division, those are two completely different statements. I don't understand. What does he do that beats Boots? I mean, I guess we're banking on the left hook. Yeah, the left hook is good. It's strong. But I'm sorry, I have to see how his power translates, man. We think that these people's power translates. It's like Nye Inoue. As great as I think Nye Inoue is, I'm not sure that his power translates to 126. And I think he's great. I think he's phenomenal. As phenomenal as I think Terrence Crawford is, obviously his power didn't translate to 154. And I don't think it's going to translate to 168. I think Canelo's going to beat him, not just because of that, but that's part of it too. Because, you know, Canelo has one of the best chins in the history of the game, right? History of the sport, right? I think there's other ways to beat somebody without hurting them. Don't get it twisted now. He could outpoint Canelo. I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm just saying I'm going for me and my sensibilities. I'm going with Saul Canelo Alvarez. But my point is that, like, Ryan Garcia, I think he's going to be Rolly, but I need to see him at 147. You know what I'm saying? If you ask me right now, as much as Jerron Boots has beat Stanionis, as bad as he whooped on him, right? If you told me Stanionis versus Ryan Garcia, I got Stanionis. If you tell me Brian Norman versus Ryan Garcia, I got Brian Norman Jr. If you tell me Mario Barrios, I don't know. I like Mario Barrios. I'm still leaning towards Mario Barrios, but that one's kind of close, you know. But I'm going with I'm going with Mario Barrios, you know. So the fact that people actually think he could beat Boots is like based off of what? I don't know, man. Maybe I'm tripping. Like, am I missing something, chat? But I don't even understand why this is a deep conversation. Shout out to Ryan Garcia for calling him out, you know, and saying that he would fight him. But it's one thing to be like, okay, bet he'll fight him. But there's a lot of people that think Ryan Garcia beats Boots. That is amazing to me. I just don't know off what basis. But I would be interested in the fight though, for sure. I think Boots stops him within 5. Nah, maybe 6. I'll give him 6. I think Boots stops him, man. Boots my number 1 pound for pound. Ain't nobody effing with Boots. Number 1 pound for pound, Jeff? Oh, you wildin'. Number 1? Nah, you wildin'. You wildin'. But shout out to Boots. Boots is definitely a beast. I think he's number 1 for sure in the 147 pound division. He's on my pound for pound list like 9 or 10. But number 1, I can't put him. Nah, I can't put anybody over Bud, Usyk, or Inoue that doesn't at least have similar accolades. You know what I'm saying? Those 3 phenomenal fighters have in common that they're undisputed in 2 different weight classes and they're undefeated while doing it. So I can't put anybody over Usyk, Bud, or Inoue. To me, they're all interchangeable. Which 1 through 3, those are the top 3 for me. And then 4 and 5 has to go to Bivol and Cinnamon, in my opinion. Both of them are undisputed as well, or have been undisputed recently. You know, with Saul Canelo Alvarez being the first ever undisputed at 168, and Bivol being undisputed at 175. So to me, those are locked in for top 5. But Boots is definitely on his way, man. Hopefully he can get these fights and get undisputed. You feel me? That'd be dope, man. 2-4 in the building. Yeah, don't forget to smack that like button, y'all. Appreciate it, man. Keep us going and growing, man. And if you haven't become a member, don't you want to use these fire emotes? Consider becoming a member, man. Starting at $3 a month, you can use these fire emotes, man. You know what I'm talking about? Best emotes on YouTube in this boxing channel ting. Yes, sir, man. And if you are a high enough tier, you can get your own emote added. You know what I'm talking about? The good doctor of that boxing talk. Salute, champ. Salutations, my brother. What's good? Thomas Hill in the building. What's good, brethren? Yes, sir, man. Yes, sir. He said, just do boxing the voice. Salute for yes, sir. Just do was in here earlier as well. Yup. The homies in here, man. So I appreciate y'all rocking on the late night, man. I wasn't even gonna go live because I went and did some y'all ever I don't know how much y'all be working on and stuff. Y'all ever heard about the I didn't know I had a name for it. I was like, man, let me go do these workouts. And then I swear, bro, they be listening, bro. Because today randomly David Goggins popped up on my YouTube search feed, and he was doing this thing. He said, oh, do this workout, nickels and dimes. So I got curious. I clicked on it, and it was the exact thing I planned on working out today. I wanted to do 5 tens, 5 and 10s, right? I was gonna do 10 push-ups, five pull-ups, 10 push-ups, five pull-ups, and just do as much as I could. And so I was doing that earlier, and I was a little yeah, that's why I didn't go live. You know what I'm saying? My normal time, because I've been feeling sick a little lately. Those that have been in the stream. So I was like, man, I gotta work this gosh dang I gotta work this dang sickness out, man. Hey, bruh, Sinners came out today, ain't it? It did come out. I want to go see that movie, man. The Michael B. Jordan joint, Ryan Coogler joint starring Michael B. Jordan. I need to go see that movie, man. That joint look fire. Boss that says Zurdo versus Paul or Dorticos. No, Dorticos for sure. But he's fighting Junior Dorticos because Junior Dorticos is the WBA mandatory. So he has to satisfy that. He's fighting Junior Dorticos on the undercard of Jake Paul and Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. The crazy part is that Oscar De La Hoya today, during the weigh-in of Gabriela Fandora versus Marilyn Badillo, shout out to Charles Conwell. I'm looking forward to that Gabriela Fandora fight as well as the Charles Conwell fight and to see Alexander Vazik as well. But Oscar De La Hoya said, oh, he wants to get Zurdo versus Jake Paul in the future. And you know how boxing works, Boss Desk. You're a boxing aficionado yourself. So usually when you have two fighters in the same or a similar division and they're on the same card and one's the main event and one's the co-main or the undercard, if they both win, they usually try to do what? Match them up next. So because when I first heard about Zurdo being on the undercard of Jake Paul, I was like, why? And this is why. Because we could potentially get Zurdo versus Jake Paul. And I think that's trash. Ain't nobody try to see that trash.
Know your fucking place, trash.
However, like I said, that doesn't mean it's gonna happen. Like I said, I don't think Jake Paul would take that risk to fight Zurdo. But the fact that Oscar De La Hoya is even flirting with that pisses me off, man. I'm not gonna lie. I got the old Warhouse Dortico. Oh yeah, you got Dorticos beating Zurdo? Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Don't do my boy Zurdo like that. I got Zurdo. Boots Ennis should move up to 154 division. That's where the real competition is for Boots. I agree, but I think the real competition is there for him. But I don't think he should move up, man. I think this is just my opinion now, Armando. Everybody has their own opinion. Some people don't value the belts. Some people think it's watered down, and I get it with the sanctioned bodies and the random rankings. Sometimes it seems like people just get inserted anywhere. But I like the accolades and I like the accomplishments too, and I like the legacy. I feel like sometimes we try to separate legacy from the belts, and I think the belts go through the legacy. I don't think you have to separate legacy, money, or the belts. Sometimes it seems like that, yes, with a lack of competition. But 147 is just in a bad place right now as far as star power goes. But at the same time, that's not Jerron Boots in his fault. If he can make the weight 147, then stay at 147 and conquer that division. Dominate your domain. I don't think we should rush him out of that division. And the point is too that we say that, oh, not us, but a lot of people say that, oh, he can't make the weight or he's weight drained. Bro, he's the IBF champion, right? He has never missed weight. The IBF belt is the strictest. The IBF sanctioned body, they're the strictest when it comes to satisfying the weight requirement. They're the ones that have the rehydration threshold implemented into their sanctioned body. You don't have to put a rehydration clause because they already got it as part of being in the IBF. So if you're an IBF champion, that means you are the most suited for that weight class. So even though you're right, it's a dead division, relatively dead division compared to the other divisions, like the best division at 154, in my opinion. 147 is kind of lacking, but at the same time, man, hey, it doesn't matter. Get that undisputed. That's what undisputed means. Undisputed means that division is yours. You know what I'm saying? How many people can name the guys that Naya Inoue fought at bantamweight? We don't even care, right? Because he got undisputed. So that symbolizes that he was the best at 118 and that he did it at 122 as well. How many people do you think could name the guys that he fought for the belts at 118 and 122? Not too many people can, right? Or Terrence Bud Crawford. How many people can name the guys that he fought at 140? Not too many people can, right? But it's the fact that he conquered that division, and that's represented by being undisputed. Same with Alexander Usyk. How many people could name the guys that he beat at cruiserweight? You know what I'm saying? You'll be lucky if you get a person to name two people, and they'll probably say Maris Bradis and Tony Bellew. They won't know anybody else he fought at cruiserweight, Yeah, but the fact that he got undisputed, it lets you know that, hey, whether there was a lot of people there, whether it was stacked or deep or had a lot of parity or had a lot of depth, the man made sure that he establish himself as that guy. And if Boots could do that, that'd definitely help his legacy. And I think obviously we will remember that, right? Because he'll go down in history as undisputed. Once you're undisputed, you in history, baby. You know what I'm saying? So I think Boots could get undisputed, and I think he should do that. And then move to 154. Them guys ain't going nowhere. Virgil Ortiz is young. He's not an old rooster. He's a spring chicken, right? He's not going nowhere. Xander Zayas is at 154. He's not going anywhere. Charles Conwell's young. He's not going anywhere. Jonas Tellis is young. He's not going anywhere. Jesus Ramos ain't going anywhere. So the only guy that he might miss out at 154 as far as age goes is, I don't know. Bakrom's not going anywhere. You know what I'm saying? So there's no rush. I mean, Terrence Bud Crawford, but Terrence Bud Crawford's not even at 154, right? He's about to fight Cinnamon at 168. So he's not even established at 154. So, nah, take his time, man. Take his time, bro. Those guys going to be there. So, you know, go 147 and go hunting at 154. And I think 154 is going to be tough. Dortico's the KO doctor? Nah, man, my boy Zurdo winning that, bro. Stop it, man. I'm actually most interested. The only person I think could beat Zurdo, in my opinion, at cruiserweight is Jai Opetaia. And the only guy that I think beats Jai Opetaia is Zurdo. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm so interested in that fight. I think that's probably like a 50-50 fight, Zurdo and Jai Opetaia. So I'm looking forward to that fight. But I don't think anybody else beats those two guys at the cruiserweight. But, you know, you could be right, bro. Junior Dortico's, I think he's a Cuban fighter, right? I think he's Cuban. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think he's Cuban. So, yeah, man, he definitely could do it. You never know. Yo, Isla. Big member in the building, man. Happy Easter to you too, my brother. Celebrates Christ's sacrifice for us, man. You know what I'm saying? The resurrection of Christ. Shout out to you, Isla. I appreciate that, bro. Big salute. Salutations, my brother. But yeah, man, that's he said, I think Oscar trolling low key. I hope so, man. I hope so. He said he fought one good person. He's a fool. No braids. He's a YouTube boxer. Jake Paul sucks. Shout out to my boy Omari, man. Yeah, I think Jake Paul is not. I don't think Jake Paul will fight that dude anyway. I think Jake Paul's only interested in the only real boxers that he's interested in is Cinnamon, and we all know why, for the money. And I'm not knocking that. You know, fight to get paid. It's a dangerous sport. Get paid. Everybody should get what they deserve. You know what I'm saying? Athletes or otherwise. I think he would fight Gervonta Tank Davis. I think he'll fight Anthony Joshua. Those are only three because of the massive money that comes with them, right? He got to maximize his dollar. No, I don't blame him. So I think Zurdo is a unnecessary risk right now. And he doesn't come with a price tag. Jai versus Bivol. Ooh, Isla, that's a good one. Jai Opetaia versus Dimitri Bivol. That's tough, man. Skill, of course, I'm going with Bivol, but Jai Opetaia is a real cruiserweight. You know, Gilberto Ramirez is a little different, right? Because Gilberto Ramirez, he was at 168, you know what I'm saying? And then he went to at 175, right? So and then now he's at cruiserweight. So that's different. We know Bivol dominated Zurdo, right? But Jai Opetaia, man, that's a legitimate, lifelong he campaigned at 170 at cruiserweight. So that's tough, man. I like Bivol to edge it out, though. I like Bivol to edge it out. But I wouldn't like to see that right away. I would like to see how he does at cruiserweight first before fully committing to a champion there. But yeah, I believe in Bivol, man. So I like Bivol a lot. So I would have Bivol. But that's a good one, man. That's a good question, bro. I'm going with Bivol, but Jai Opetaia ain't no punk either, man. I think he's pretty good, man. He's pretty good. Cigar Talk, is that Najee in the building, man? Salute, brethren. He said Bivol outboxes him. Hey, I agree. I agree with that. Yo, hey, that was a good interview with Trill Bill. You know what I'm saying? That was a good interview, man. That was a good interview, man. I watched that interview, man. So that was dope content. He said, average someone. He said, yo, Doc, you familiar with the opponent Bear Rodriguez at the face? If so, could you give me your thoughts? Yeah, man. Fumaleli Cafu, the South African champion, man. I love this fight because at 115, similar to 118, you know, junior bantamweight, similar to bantamweight. Like Jesse Bear Rodriguez gets a lot of love, a lot of publicity because he has the biggest backing, right? He's with Eddie Hearn and Matchroom. Same with Junto Nakatani. A lot of people think Junto Nakatani, who is my personal favorite at 118, they think he's the best, and I'm one of those. However, I watch boxing enough to know that they don't fight in our heads; they fight in the ring. So Junto Nakatani, the fact is that he has not separated himself from 118 or the other champions, right? He just hasn't, because he's one of 4 undefeated champions. Junta Nakatani, Seiya Tsutsumi, Ryosuke Nishida, and Yoshiki Takei. And I'm glad that Ryosuke Nishida and Junta Nakatani are going to fight each other for unification, right? For the WBC from Juto and the IBF from Ryosuke Nishida. So then somebody will emerge as the phoenix from the ashes and separate themselves as the definitive best. That's what unifications do, right? So that's why I like unifications. So with Bam Rodriguez, he's in a similar situation, right? You got Puma Martinez, the Argentinian or the Argentine fighter, who's undefeated at 115, and then you also have Fumuledi Cafu, who's the guy you're talking about, I'm assuming, because he's been rumored to fight him, the South African undefeated champion, right? The IBF is currently vacant. Puma Martinez had 2 belts, but he was unified, but he vacated in order to pursue a more lucrative matchup with in a rematch with Kazuta Ioka. But Fumuledi Cafu, to answer your question, man, I think he's pretty good, man. I think he doesn't have that many fights. I want to say he's 10-0, 9-0, but he's a decent fighter, man. Like I said, for South Africa, and he had a very tough fight in his last fight, man. I just think Bam Rodriguez is too much. Like, I personally believe that Bam Rodriguez is the best at 115, you know. But I think it's important that he proves that, you know what I'm saying? And this is a good way to prove it. So I fully believe that Fumuledi Cafu beats him. Sorry, Bam Rodriguez beats him. I think he's like 10-0. And he just had a very close fight. I think he won by, what did he win by? I think he won, it was a decision. I want to say split decision against Kosei Tanaka, KO Tanaka. So I don't know, man. I got Bam all the way, but could he potentially outbox Bam? I don't think so, but maybe. I think Bam is just a truth at 115, but I vehemently disagree with people saying that, what they say? They say, oh, Bam is going to, Bam is like number 4, number 5 on the pound for pound list. Like, you're crazy, bro. Like, shout out to Bam Rodriguez, but a lot of people put him all the way up there above guys that are undisputed. I've seen him above Canelo. I've seen him above freaking Bivol. Like, you're crazy, bro. Like, that's disrespectful to those champions. Like, he's not even unified yet. He's not even the definitive best in his division. Do I think he's the best? Yeah, I think he wins. I think he beats Puma Martinez. I think he beats Kazuta Ioka. I think he beats the other champion in Fumuledi Cafu, but he has to do it. You know what I'm saying? So this would be a good start. But yeah, I just don't think that Fumuledi Cafu has enough pop to hang with Bam, and I just think that Bam is more skillful. Fumuledi Cafu is more of a he's a slick fighter, but I don't think he's that slick to get away from Bam. So that's just my opinion, man. I only seen him fight twice though. You know, like I said, he only has like 10 wins. He has like, I think he has like 10 wins and he has like 2 or 3 draws. So he has like 13 fights in total, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe 11 wins, but yeah, something like that. But yeah, I think Bam Rodriguez is better. I think Bam Rodriguez's biggest threat at 115 is Fernando Martinez, Puma Martinez. That'd be a good fight. Fumuledi Cafu, I think that while I think he's good and I think he loses to Puma Martinez and Bam Rodriguez. This is why they pay you the big bucks. Always knowledgeable. I appreciate that, Average. You know what I'm talking about? They pay me the big bucks. Hey, one day, you feel me? Ooh wee! That was a nice alley-oop. I'm watching this gosh dang Memphis game in Dallas. Memphis already won. There's 40 seconds left. 118-101. That was a good dunk, though. I think that was Gafford. So something similar to Edwards, a box. Sonny Edwards, yeah. Yeah. I would say Sonny Edwards is better, too, still. But, yeah, it's a similar style to Sonny Edwards. Exactly. He's a boxer. Yep. That's a good one. And you saw what Bam Rodriguez did to him. He basically retired Sonny Edwards, right? I mean, he had one more fight after that. He fought Galil Yafai, and that retired him. But essentially, Bam Rodriguez retired that man. If you're thinking about retirement, you know what I'm saying, going into your next fight, you're already retired, man. You know what I'm saying? That's why we were so worried about Gervonta Tank Davis, man. Like, I hated that retirement talk, man. Not hated it, you know, hey, do what's best for you, man. Boxing is a dangerous sport, you know. Do what benefits you the most. If you're contemplating retirement seriously, which I think he was, you know, I don't think he was just saying it whimsically or just throwing a temper tantrum like Shakur was or Teofimo was or Devin Haney was. Or Ryan Garcia was when they said that they're retiring. I think he's something he was thinking about for a long time. And if you're thinking about it, then, you know, you don't want to have one foot out, one foot in, man. You got to either on the porch or you in the street. You know what I'm saying? You can't be in the front yard, bro. You out here pussyfooting, then you're going to be in trouble. And I think I'm not taking anything away from Lamont Roach. Lamont Roach fought a hell of a fight. But that definitely didn't help the fact that Tank was actively talking about retirement. You know what I'm saying? So when you talk about retirement, you think about retirement, then just go ahead and retire, man, because you don't want to get mollywopped in your fight, you know. And shout out to Lamont Roach. He did his thing. Looking forward to the rematch, though. We got Dub in the building, man. What's popping with you, bro? Big member in the building. Yes, sir. He said, hey, yo, okay, yo, on air, you're on? Hey, come on, man. You know we out here, man. Stop playing with me, man. You know my thing. You know my thing. We out here, my brother. We out here, man. We out here. Hey, show my boy some love too, man. Those are good questions that you asked too. Regards to my boy Trill Bill, but we got to show my boy Trill Bill some love, man, with that lawsuit, man. You know, I agree with. I love Trill Bill's answer, man. But we shouldn't have to ask him. You know what I'm saying? We should know that, hey, bro, it's a business, man. They would have sued him too. You feel me? But shout out to Trill Bill for addressing that. I don't think that lawsuit's that bad. Of course, we all from the same place, so we don't look fondly on interactions with anything that's related to the judicial system. But we gotta understand too, these guys are working in the capacity of a business, man, and hey, that's just part of it. Shit, if you ain't suing somebody, then you may not be operating in your business. You may not be operating your business appropriately and effectively. You know what I'm saying? So if you're working in the capacity of a business, man, that's second nature. That's like breathing. A bitch cheats you, man. You better sue their draws off, man. Check them pockets and check that chin. That's what I say. You feel me? Shout out to Trill Bill, man. I'm not even a big Haney fan like that, but I don't want to see nobody get done dirty and nobody get cheated on, man. But yeah, man. But chat, I just want to chop it up with y'all for a little bit, man. We talked over an hour. Like I said, I will not be on tomorrow because I don't know, you know. But I plan on going down to my my aunt's, celebrate Easter with the family. You know what I'm talking about? So I might not catch the Gabriela Fedora versus Marilyn Badillo card. That's at 8 o'clock, right? Eastern Standard Time. And then the early one is Dalton Smith versus Matthew German, right? Jermaine, excuse me. Jermaine Matthew, right? I'm going to miss that. I think that's at 2 p.m. because that's in England, right? It's across the pond. I'm going to miss that one as well. Yeah, I'm going to be traveling, and we're going to spend Easter with my family. So don't be surprised if I don't get on. I might go down there on Sunday. You feel me? So that's what I'm saying might, because if I'm at the crib still, then I'll turn up, you know, and we'll call the fights. But I'm most likely gonna leave tomorrow and just spend the entire weekend with them, my cousins down south. So Omari said I'm done. What happened, bro? What happened, man? Talk to me, bro. What you done with, man? I can't defend Tank anymore. Wow, what happened, man? Pull your hold on now. What happened, bro? We got to defend my boy, man. Pull them GTD chains out, man. What you talking about, bro? Put them GTD chains out now. He keep doing this outrageous stuff. Oh, Lord, what'd he do? This is why they don't pay you the big bucks by dedication to the game. This is why they don't pay you the big bucks. He said this is why they don't pay you the big bucks. No dedication to the game. It's crazy. That's why he said, just kidding. Enjoy your Easter weekend, brother. I appreciate it, bro. I'm going to try to, man. The resurrection of Christ, man. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, man. Happy Good Friday to everybody, too. The media said something about Tank versus Frank Martin rematch. Nah, I don't think that's going to happen. Nah. That's fake, Omar. I don't believe that. Frank Martin, shout out to Frank Martin. I think Frank the Ghost Martin could bounce back for sure. I'm looking forward to him bouncing back, but he said he's coming back at 140 last time I checked, you know. So I would say don't believe that, Omar. The rematch is with Lamont Roach. Frank Martin, I've been hearing some rumors about him fighting some people at 140, but nah, that's gonna be at you know, he's coming back at 140. Tank's at 135, so. The rematch we were anticipating is Lamont Roach versus Tank. Excuse me. And then hopefully we get some unifications, you know what I'm saying? I just hope we don't get that Tank versus Jake Paul crap. Yeah, that's definitely fake news, man. That's definitely fake news. Hold on, let me put up the fake. That's definitely fake news.
If you out here getting fake vagina over your fake jury, reality is reality.
Yes, sir, man. But I'm about to go ahead and call it, man. Appreciate y'all rocking as always, for real, for real, for real. Shout out to all the members, man. Big members in the building, holding it down for your boy. And if you haven't done so already, man, consider becoming a member. Supporting Dr. Boxing Talk, man, goes a long way to keep us going and growing and keep them lights on, baby. So, you know, we getting it out the mud, man. We get the hustle off the muscle. We get it out the mud, man. You know how we do, man. So, yeah, man, I appreciate y'all rocking for the late show. You know, those of you new to the channel, we go live twice a day, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. for the morning show, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the late show. And then, of course, we bring live commentary for all the fights, whether it's in Japan at 4 in the morning while you're yawning on a Tuesday, got the club going up on a Tuesday, or the fights are in Nigeria, or they're in England, or they're in Jamaica, or, you know, wherever it is, man. Mexico, we're going to be live and bring you live boxing commentary, man. We work hard around here, so keep rocking with us, man. Keep rocking with us, man. Hey, I appreciate you, man. Y'all be easy. Take care of yourself. If I don't catch you tomorrow, and I don't catch you for the rest of the weekend, man, happy Easter. Enjoy your family. Tell somebody that you love them. You know what I'm saying? And throw some prayers up, you know, and be safe out there, man. So y'all be easy. Don't forget to smack that like button. But most importantly, remember, with God, we can do anything. Without God, we're nothing. The doctor's out. Peace. From the hood to college, both worlds they had to meet. 6 degrees between us, so cold, we're about to freeze. But we're Florida boys, hot takes, we bring the heat. We're moving the culture, the engineers to the streets.